The Columbus City Council meeting for June 19th, 2023 will now come to order. In compliance with the Open Meeting Act, Nebraska Revised Statute 84-1407, a current copy of this act is posted in this meeting room. Madam Clerk or Assistant Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Sure. Bulkley.
Here.
Augustine Schulte.
Here.
Barr.
Here.
Freshour.
Here.
Hemer.
Here.
Jablonski.
Here.
Lopez. Roth.
Here.
Schilling.
Here.
Mayor Bulkley, the roll's been called.
Thank you. Mrs. Council President.
Our Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve our fellow citizens. Please give us your wisdom and guidance to make the proper decisions that have been entrusted to this governmental body. Allow our conduct to show respect, honor, and courtesy to each other, as well as to all our citizens. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly singing, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. If at any time during our meeting this evening anyone in our audience would like to come forward and address the council for any items on our agenda, we'd ask you please to do so. Come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and we'd ask that you keep any comments to 5 minutes or less. With that, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Item 4, consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the City Council member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from consent status and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item 4A, minutes of the June 5th, 2023 City Council meeting. Item 4B, minutes of the June 5th, 2023 Community Development Agency meeting. Item 4C, resolution number R23-80, declaring 2500 14th Street as the new location for the City Council chambers. Item 4D, resolution number R23-81, authorizing payment of various improvement projects. Item 4E, Finance Department reports, and item 4F, payroll and bills on file. Mr. Mayor and Councilor, is there anything you would like removed from consent status?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay.
I don't have it.
No votes.
Not going through.
No.
Kelly.
Protesting its last days.
That's right.
I'm going to go back here. Go back to the meeting.
There you go.
Good.
Motion passes. Brings us up to public hearings.
Item 7A, public hearing, application of Gottberg Auto Company LLC doing business as Duster's Restaurant and Gottberg Brew Pub for addition to the liquor license at 2804 13th Street to include the outdoor patio area.
Is there anyone here in the audience to speak against this public hearing? Anyone here to speak for this public hearing?
Mr. Mayor, I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Item 7B, public hearing, application of UJJVAL LLC doing business as Dual Stop Columbus 23rd Street for retail Class D liquor license, 220 23rd Street, Suite 1, it's 3rd Avenue and 23rd Street.
Do we not have to make a recommendation on the Gottenberg? We just
was
closed the public hearing is all we did.
It should have been part of the motion. The recommended motion on item 7A
Didn't hear that. But
should have been that the public hearing be closed and a recommendation be made to the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission.
Yeah, it was, the motion is listed in here.
I understand, but he
Nobody
just-
it was.
Charlie just said to close the public hearing. He
right.
didn't say anything about the recommendation.
Yeah,
So should we go ahead, Neil, what do we need to do?
That you need to make a motion. Mr. Jablonski's correct. It needs to be a motion to make the recommendation then.
So do we
redo the motion?
redo?
No,
Re-
the public hearing is closed. It's just the next motion.
Okay,
Okay, make the motion now, yeah, okay.
Application, no, that's Gottberg.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Right.
you want, Gottberg.
Duster's Restaurant and Gottberg Brew Pub for addition to liquor license at 2804 13th Street to include outdoor area.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to include the recommendation for the liquor license in the outdoor area. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. And we probably can't do it.
yeah, I'll
Yeah, we'll just have to voice,
call.
we'll have to roll call that.
I'll call that.
Please roll call that.
Done it once.
Yep.
Barr.
Yes.
It's okay. Augustine Schulte.
Aye.
Fresh Shore.
Aye.
Emer.
Yes.
Jablonski.
Yes.
Lopez. Roth.
Yes.
Schilling.
Yes,
Okay.
Motion passes. Okay, public hearing B.
So, public hearing, application of UJJVAL LLC doing business as Dual Stop Columbus 23rd Street for a retail Class D liquor license at 220 23rd Street, Suite 1, 3rd Avenue and 23rd Street.
So we need the same recommendation of approval and,
Yeah, you do your public hearing first.
anyone, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry.
On behalf of Ujjwal LLC, DBA Dual Stop, my name is Savan Patel. If you have any questions regarding for the liquor license, I'm here.
Any questions? I do not see any. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was in speaking in favor. Anyone here to speak against? All right, great. Thank you.
I'm going to the public hearing be closed and a recommendation be made to the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission to approve the application of Dual Stop Columbus 23rd Street for a retail Class D liquor license.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 7B1, application of Dual Stop Columbus 23rd Street for Niraj R. Patel as manager in conjunction with the liquor license.
Mr.
Move
Mayor,
that the application be closed. Or the application of Dual Stop Columbus 23rd for Nigel R. Patrell as matters be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. And I'll look at this TV because that one,
this
I
TV
should have
is
figured that out when it was dark, but motion passes. How's that? That brings us up to new business.
Item 13.
Congratulations.
Item 13A, appointment of Stacy Smith to the Park Board to fill the unexpired term of Robin Kutzer.
council members, Mayor Bulkley would like, with your permission, to submit the following name for appointment to the Park Board Commissioners with a 2-week waiting period to be waived. He is asking that Stacy Smith be nominated to this position. Stacy Smith was born and raised near Broken Bow, Nebraska. She graduated from Broken Bow High School and then attended Northwest Oklahoma State University, where she received a bachelor's degree in health and physical education and 5 through 10 math. She later received her master's degree in curriculum and instruction from Wayne State University. Stacy taught 4 years at Bartlett Wheeler Central before coming to Columbus, where she taught 32 years at Columbus Public Schools. She has taught K through 12 physical education, 8th grade health, and 5 through 10 math. She has served as head coach and assistant coach of volleyball, basketball, cross country, and track. Stacy and her husband Dan have called Columbus home for the past 32 years. They have been very involved in the community and want to do their part to help make Columbus a great place to live and raise a family. We need an motion to ratify this appointment, please.
Move
moved.
the mayor's appointment be ratified.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 13B, application of Knights of Columbus for a special designated liquor license on 26th Avenue between 12th and 14th Streets for designated times from Friday, August 11th through Sunday, August 13th, 2023 for a beer garden in conjunction with Columbus Days.
Mr. Mayor, move for the application of Knights of Columbus for special designated liquor license to be approved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the application for the Knights of Columbus for a special designated liquor license. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 13C, comments from the mayor and city council members. In compliance with the Open Meetings Act, no discussion may be held on this item.
Do we have any comments from council members this evening?
I just
Yes,
have one. We will not have another meeting again before July 4th. Is that correct? Yeah. And so just a reminder to those of you who are celebrating with fireworks to keep in mind the ordinances for times and the dates when fireworks can be shot, just out of respect for your neighbors in your neighborhood and the community. Clean up your stuff in the street when you're done. So that's all.
Thank you. I just have a couple of comments. This will be our last meeting in this structure, in this facility. Our next council meeting will be held on Wednesday, July 5th, in our new community building. So we want the public to be aware of that. Along with that same thing, the 8th of July, which will be the Saturday after the 4th, we will have ribbon cutting ceremony at 9 o'clock and an open house from 9 till noon. And we're really eager to show the facility off to the public and show them what they have. So we encourage everybody to come out and take a look at our facility, their facility. The only other thing I wanted to comment on was, don't know how many of you maybe made a trip east this weekend, past North Bend. But if you haven't, Highway 30 is open. Not totally complete, but open. You can get all the way on the new road, 2 lanes for part of it yet, but it's all new, it's straight, it's pretty nice. I've been on it 4 different times already, so I mean, it's good. All right, let's move on to resolutions.
Item 14A, resolution number R23-82, adopting the Columbus Community Building rental policies and procedure. Ellie Coffin is here, our community coordinator, if anybody has any questions about these or any discussion. Unless there's
Any
there's
questions?
questions, Ellie, you don't.
Perfect. Thanks.
You did a good job. Who's got,
Mr. Mayor, I move that adoption of resolution R23-82 to be adopted.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number R23-82. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye, those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Item 14B, resolution number R23-83, approving the third amended interlocal solid waste management agreement.
Mr. Mayor, move resolution number R23-83 be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number R 23-83. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 14C, resolution number R23-84, approving the amendment number 1 to the agreement between the owner and the design builder, Sand Creek Construction, and the amount of $873,000 for material and construction of the west courts of the Girard Park Tennis and Pickleball Courts.
Mr. Mayor, I move that resolution number R 23-84 be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number R 23-84. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Item 14D, resolution number R23-85, supporting the concept of Highway 30 to Highway 80, or Highway 64, connector road project.
Mr. Mayor, move for the adoption of resolution number R 23-85.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 23-85. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I would like to remove the paragraph, I don't have it, I got the second paragraph. I don't think that's necessary in this particular motion. Only thing they're asking us is to approve that we agree to, that this program should continue. It's not, the stipulations that we're putting on there, the first paragraph says yes, as far as I'm concerned. The second paragraph, we're trying to say no. So I would like to remove that second paragraph. The following part, whereas, however, the city generally supports, is subject to the following contingencies. In that, Platte County takes on to stay the role as lead in public agency, 2 additional local county jurisdiction become remain party to, and also the future phase agreement, and Platte County, Colfax County, and Butler County all agreed to coordinate completion of their respective 1 to 6 year road associated. I think this is way beyond what these people are asking, so I'd like to have that removed. I move that gotta make a motion to take it out, or how would we wanna do that?
You would need to make a motion to strike that from the resolution. I think it's still open for discussion
Yeah, I
on
mean, it is
council,
still-
so when the
The only reason those staff included those provisions in the resolution is
beginning.
the first one was agreed upon the last time. The second was agreed upon the very first time this came before the city council. And the third was part of the last study, that those things would happen in order to meet that price objective. So that's the only reason they're included.
I guess I don't agree with it, and I think that they still ought to be removed from this motion.
Well, Councilman Schilling has a motion to amend or remove that paragraph from the agreement or from the resolution. Does he have a second?
Do we have to do something with the first? Hasn't someone already motioned though? Don't we have to do something with that first before we can?
Do we
change
have
the
a motion to approve?
Yeah,
the
you
resolution?
do have a motion and a
I have a
second.
motion
We
to
opened it for
remove that
second.
paragraph from
So
the-
should that get voted on first?
Change the motion.
So what that has to happen is, if Ron is wanting to change the resolution that's on the agenda, he would would seek leave for the motions to be withdrawn, and if that happens, he could just do that. If not, then I believe the proper procedure would be
Vote on the motion on the floor.
to call the motion on the floor and see what happens, and if that fails, then make the motion, I believe would be the proper procedure.
Well, I will withdraw my motion if we have enough in
I'll
favor.
withdraw my second.
Okay, so the motion and the second's been withdrawn.
And I just have a question. So all we are doing tonight is just saying we're supporting this idea. We're not making any kind of a commitment. Is that what I'm understanding this to be?
Correct.
I just want to make
If
sure I
it-
understand that.
If we just use the first paragraph,
Because the others involving the other counties, right?
yes.
Well, there's not,
And it's just, that part of it, I mean, that's a long way off as
Right.
far as what that's going to say. And there's a lot of water that's gonna go under the bridge by the time that happens. And so I don't think we wanna put ourselves in a position that we're already against if something doesn't happen directly at the time.
well, what you're going to do is you're going to have anything that does happen come back before this council or future councils. So a nickel or a dime's not going to get spent unless it comes back here to begin with anyway.
Maybe it ought to be the way it ought to be done.
You know, I mean, which is where we are. I mean, that's the reality of what will happen. And so if there's an amendment, I guess I'll be honest with you, if you had this feeling, Mr. Schilling, I would have been nice to have it up front. We could have had this discussion and maybe made the amendment. You know, and maybe had it changed so we didn't have to go through all this here in the middle of the meeting.
I'm sorry, but I was out of town all week and I didn't get there and see this motion until this morning when I
Well, okay.
got out of bed.
And I understand that. I'm just saying, that's why we try to get things out so we can maybe have some of these things handled before we get into the middle of a discussion. Because I mean, I think it's a good point. I'm just saying it would be cleaner if we would have had it up front and brought it up the way that it appears people are going to be willing to have it.
So we have a motion.
Well, no.
No.
He's gonna need to
No.
make, he's gonna need to make a motion, and Ron, you're gonna need to be clear because you've talked about 3 different paragraphs, but read one of them. So you're gonna have to be clear about which one you were wanting stricken
Well,
from the
it's
proposed resolution.
It's the second paragraph.
What you read was the third whereas paragraph. So if you make the motion to strike the second paragraph, but you meant the third one, that's not gonna be reflecting what you wanted.
See, whereas 1, whereas 2, whereas 3.
Yeah. Okay, and again,
I just look on this.
we got whereas 3, I'm not sure, I haven't,
1, 2, 3. So this
so
is
it'd be paragraph 2
3.
or 3, paragraph 3, yes. It's paragraph 3, whereas the Platte County, the 2 additional local counties and the Platte County Colfax, that portion.
So then your motion should be to strike the third whereas paragraph. And if you get a second, then that's out, and then you put up the motion to approve the resolution as has been amended.
Got that?
Okay.
But you gotta make the motion.
I move that paragraph 3 be removed from the resolution
R2385.
of resolution R 2385.
Well, you're at the word whereas,
Second?
What's that?
the third whereas paragraph.
Can you
Okay.
see that I typed that?
I can't, but maybe
Okay,
they
yeah.
can. I'm not sure.
I changed the motion to reflect what you just said.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we ripe for discussion at this point?
We got a second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
All right, I'm going down to the next paragraph, ending without a vote of the people approving the city's financial participation. I would like to strike that because there may be some development monies that we need to put into this to, there may be some monies that we would like to put into it prior to our big financial commitment. We may want to go in and spend $20,000 for additional feasibility studies, for additional whatever kind of studies. And I would like to be able to do that without going to a vote of the people.
I would say that paragraph is verbatim from the last time a resolution on this matter came up and was voted on and approved, just for the council's knowledge.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
That paragraph is verbatim from the last time a resolution on the matter came up concerning the project in general. So,
Nonetheless, I would still like to have
Have it
that
removed.
removed.
Which
because I would like to be able to have the council make further commitments to this project without having to go to a vote of the people. I understand that the project is huge and that ultimately we will probably have to go to a vote of the people. But I think that we need to be able to take incremental steps to facilitate the project without going to a vote of the people.
Could we table this to maybe straighten the mess out?
Well, I would think the same thing, Councilman.
Because I think I don't think we're,
It's not gonna be the same
not flowing.
resolution.
It's not gonna be what we all want, because of the way it's being thrown together. Valid point, but bring it back together as one in unity.
Can we have some discussion though, so staff has some direction, because all of these things that you're discussing were part of discussions, development, or previous resolutions. So if we just want the two first whereas, and that's it, then we'll bring it back next time. If it's something else, we need some direction on that.
I think it's just a matter of stating that we as a council support the process that's going on. It's not, we're not trying to,
as far as going on record and saying that we're supportive.
we're in supportive.
I am supportive of the
Yeah,
project.
so am I. I mean, but all of a sudden, and I was reading this thing, and then it got to be so that it looked like number one, number two statement said we're supported, and then the next one says, oh gosh, there's all kinds of contingencies in there that are saying that, we're really not for it all totally, unless all this happens. Well, I think we need to,
Withdraw your motion.
Table it and start over.
So, Ron, can I just ask, so you're saying that, I guess I'm having a little, when I look at it, is however, the city's general support is subject to the following contingencies. So in other words, if these contingencies are not in place, then we are not going to support it. Is that how that reads? Am I understanding that correctly?
that's the way I read it, yes.
That's the way you're reading it, okay. And so what you're saying is, you are in support of it regardless of if these things are in place.
Read that by me again.
You are in support of this project regardless if these
These
things are.
contingencies are a long ways down the road, and, I don't think,
That's the thing,
need
they're
to-
not though, that's why they're included. If you want them to be a long way down the road, that is fine, but they have been contingencies of previous action by this council.
And the way the project was brought to us was those same actions, all the adjoining counties participating with us is what, I think that's what staff's coming from. Now, if you want to just generically say you support it, that's fine. You
I
can
think that-
generically say we can support it. And again, I come back and say, there's not a nickel spent that won't go out of here without being brought in front of the council.
Right.
A general, hey, the project, we support the project in principle as presented, boom, I guess that says that. And then, like I said, they come back with $50,000 that needs to go somewhere, you gotta convince the council that $50,000 gotta go somewhere. But we better have an idea, because it's gotta get put in the budget too.
So I'm just thinking through now that we're having discussion on this. So when you talked in that language, so if you remove Platte County takes on and stays the role as lead public agency, if we remove that, then essentially could Butler or Colfax County take on the lead of the project?
If they were interested.
I'm just hypothetically saying that. Okay,
They're gonna have to if we remove ourselves.
right.
So what's the will of the council? You want them,
Well, yeah, you have a motion and a second.
Well, I know.
On the floor, yeah.
so we have a motion and a second,
We need to
or do you want to ask to?
Amend the motion or remove the motion
Or remove the
and
motion,
table
that's, I'm just
the
asking.
item.
we'll remove my motion so that we can maybe come back with the,
and table it.
I will withdraw my second.
So now we would have a free table to table this item.
Yes.
And bring it back at the July 5th meeting
Yes,
And do we need to make a motion for that?
you need to make a motion to.
To table it.
To table that, yeah.
Should.
Then I move that this item, resolution number R23-85, be tabled and brought back to the council at the next meeting in July.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table resolution number R 23-85
And brought back when?
and brought back at the July 5th meeting.
Was that part of the motion?
Yeah, it
Thank
was
you.
our first meeting in July, which would be July 5th. So, gentlemen, you get to come to the new council chambers and sit through with us again. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay.
We didn't give you a very easy first night here, Kelly. Sorry about that. Hopefully I can do this.
Hold on, okay.
There it goes.
Motion passes. Brings us up to, oh, I'm sorry, we have one more left. One more.
Item 14E, resolution number R23-86, approving the memorandum of understanding with Columbus Baseball Association for payment of umpires at USSSA state baseball tournaments.
Mr. Mayor, I move that resolution number R23-86 be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number R 23-86. Any discussion?
Is this gonna get us into a situation similar to the situation with the softball group some time ago?
No.
We're doing this so we do follow rules about paying people for services. So we will be paying Columbus Baseball Association for a defined work, and then they will pay the umpires. Umpires want to be paid at the time they provide the service in cash,
If they go
and
through-
we cannot do that.
If they go through if wait for the city's payment, then they would have to wait.
Yeah, no,
And
They'll
that-
still be
and they don't-
provided a
umpires don't like to
1099.
wait for-
We'll
as
still,
long as there are safeguards involved or in place
Yes.
such that the umpires get paid.
Yes.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay.
Well, gotta vote again.
I know.
Have to tell boys that they got voted in twice.
There we go.
Motion passes. Brings us up to resolutions on their first reading.
item 15A, ordinance number 23-07, amending city code to change the city council and planning commission meeting times to 6 PM. No motion is necessary. This is the first reading.
Right, yep. Unless there's some discussion, there's no motion necessary. All right, we'll move on to ordinances on their third reading.
Item 17A.
I'm sorry?
Is the July 5th meeting going to be? at
No,
6?
it's August 1st,
August 1st.
we said, yes.
Meeting in August.
Or the
yes.
first meeting in August, whatever that date happens to be.
Item 17A, ordinance number 23-04, amending city code to define scrapping and declare scrapping in residential zones as a nuisance.
Mr. Mayor, move ordinance number R 2304 be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 23-04. Any discussion?
If you read this ordinance, there's a lot of discretion that the individual on scene is gonna be making. That concerns me somewhat, because what you see as a nuisance, I might see as not a nuisance. So you're gonna, I'm afraid there's gonna be a lot of pushback on some of this. Is it necessary? Oh, indeed, but I think we're gonna have to kind of see what
Watch it.
they're bringing forward.
Watch it and see what kind of reaction we get and
You
what
know,
kind of
'cause
pushback.
What
Well,
one person's nuisance is
it is.
not another.
Absolutely. One person's gold is another person's trash, you know? I mean, it is. We know that. So, I mean, I think we go into it
Yeah.
open-minded and recognize there may be need for tweaking
Yeah.
or whatever.
This is mostly brought up because there are businesses operating on residential properties.
Right, understood.
Yeah. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Those opposed, nay. Oh, motion passes. Meeting adjourned. Got ahead of me, Kelly.